The following podcast may contain discussions supported by science that may be considered dangerous to some listeners and conspiracy theorists. Discretion is advised.
The Three Down Greencast is brought to you by Lucky Bastard Distillers, Saskatchewan's premier distillery, and by the Pile of Bones Brewing Company, brewed in the heart of Regina. Welcome to the Three Down Greencast. You are listening to the internet's only Bald Cena podcast. I am Joel Gasson with John Fraser, as usual, as we do have plenty to get to, as usual. The Riders did drop their first game of the year to the Toronto Argonauts, so we will discuss that game where many of things happened. To kind of summarize it, it was sort of a weird game that I still have having some trouble processing a little bit, just exactly what we watched. But
seconded, like traditionally on this pod, the Riders play so well we can just kind of dump on them, or the Riders play so poorly we can just sort of dump on them, or they play so well minus the laps in the middle it's just kind of boring. This one's a bit of a weird one. I don't know. I have thoughts, and I'm feeling odd about it.
Yes, it's a very strange football game, so we will get into that and everything that sort of happened in that game and a whole bunch more. But we have some breaking news, I guess, on this podcast.
Yes,
so not really breaking. I guess the information probably broke earlier today, but for us, this was sort of breaking.
It's like 4 hours. Listen, TMZ only got it an hour ago, so for us, this is breaking news.
I thought I actually saw something on Instagram earlier today, even that. So I'm surprised TMZ was that slow.
It's true. It looks like Instagram was 4 hours ago, but either way, TMZ had it an hour ago. Your source for breaking news right here, Joel Gasson.
John Cena is bald. At least at the moment.
It's true.
So there is a clear and direct trend right now going on amongst Johns that I know or I'm aware of, because I obviously don't know John Cena as much as I would like to know John Cena. I don't. I'm aware of his existence.
Very, very aware from our years of watching wrestling.
Which is not that big of a bubble for me when it comes to like famous people that I'm aware of their existence. So John Cena is one of them. He has gone bald. We will get into that in a second. Of course, on this here fine program, Jonathan Q. Fraser is bald.
That's right.
And over the last few years, famously, also John Hodge has decided to go bald. So there is an obvious trend amongst Johns, apparently, to at least temporarily go bald.
So if there's anybody named John out there, join the crew, go bald, just accept it. I will admit, when first looking at John Cena with no hair, it was a little jarring. But then even more jarring was seeing the photo that his hair transplant surgeon posted by himself. Like, he's just posing like there should be somebody else in the photo. John
Such
Cena's
an original
invisible
joke. No one's ever made that one before.
Come on. I'm not known for my originality or my humor on this podcast.
No. Yeah, it's still a surprising and shocking development. And I question John Cena here a little bit, because he is apparently going in for a second hair transplant.
Yes.
Which, if you followed wrestling at all in the last few years, you notice and remember that his first one didn't go that well.
No.
It didn't stick, we'll say, especially on sort of the back top of his head, as people sort of made fun of him for that for a while.
I'm not gonna lie. It's actually kind of hilarious that if you just search bald or Google bald John Cena, some of the images that come up, including John Cena with a duster and long hair, lots of his bald spot. But I think the CFL has an opportunity here, Joel, to do something.
What's that?
Okay, they have an opportunity to put the terrible green screen Montreal Alouettes logo on the bald head of John Cena whenever he goes someplace. And it would somehow look less awkward than it does when they play at home.
Yeah. That's one I truly don't understand. Like, TSN is trying like the field goal range marker when teams need field goals this year.
Which, again, don't hate it. Don't hate it.
The theory is good. It is executed very poorly. Like, it is a terrible looking graphic.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, they can't just put like a line on the screen without it being gigantic and awkward looking for some reason. So there's that. But yeah, for whatever reason this year, I would assume Montreal Alouettes have requested that the logo be at midfield instead of the McGill logo. And which, okay, fair enough. I guess, they're the teams, they get some say in this sort of stuff, because like the on-field advertising is their advertising. Which is why when we were watching, if you're watching the broadcast of the Riders Argos game, all the on-field stuff were the Argos sponsors, and all the banner advertising around at field level was the Argos sponsors. So clearly that game, that quote-unquote home game for the Argos on Friday evening, was simply just to honor television contracts in terms of advertising. Because there was nothing else about that game that felt like an Argos game. And I think it was a bit of a missed opportunity, personally.
You said it, the good, bad, dumb.
Yeah.
Which I read 10 minutes before we started recording. I will agree. I think if you're going to host that game, lean into it.
Yeah.
Like make as we go, as of course all things are wrestling, as again I still have bald John Cena, and I'm just like scrolling through pages and pages of memes. One was a weird Photoshop like mashup of him and Stone Cold Steve Austin that will now haunt me in my nightmares. But anyways, just make it so like the home team is the heel here. Like have the PA announcers get all excited for the Argos, have everything turn blue. I don't know if you've even got blue lights around there. Like, just
LED.
lean into
it's all
it.
LED. It's very easy to change, I'm sure.
Right. Like, I just feel like that would have been a lot more fun. I was expecting to see a little bit more because...
Yeah, like, obviously we weren't expecting, like, full Argos game day experience. Like, that would be difficult to pull off with, you know, and I get it's easy to sort of stick to the script that you know, and they could have generally stuck to it, just make it a little more Argo-centric, lean into the bit a little bit, and I think it would have been a lot more fun.
Didn't they, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't think I was ever at the game or if I just watched it, when they were the home to, when they hosted an Ottawa preseason game, did they not at least lean into it a little bit?
They did. Big Joe was there, and I believe sort of like the generic graphic theme around on the Maxtron and stuff was more plaid. So yeah, I think they did lean into that a little bit more, maybe because it was a preseason game, they didn't care as much. There was maybe less money on the line with some of that stuff. I don't know, but at the same time, it's like, well, this is a bonus home game for you, so I don't know. It would have been more fun to see. Like Jason, their mascot, should have been there. Yeah, I would have introduced the Argos last. You know, sort of flip the script a little bit on that. You can still do bringing out for the riders, whatever. Who cares? But like, just a little more blue around the stadium in terms of some of the graphics packs. You know, there's the travel Tourism Saskatchewan does this bit every game where they show a whole bunch of footage from some area in the province, and they have someone guess where it's from. And I said to the guys in the press box, I'm like, it would have been really funny I know it's supposed to be a Tourism Saskatchewan ad, but they should have done where in Toronto was this for that one.
Or they should have done where in Ontario, and all three were just Toronto. Because everybody, trust, as you and I can both relate, you say you're from Ontario, people are like, oh, Ajax? Toronto? Like, no, there are other cities in that giant-ass province.
Yeah, so, yeah. It would have been fun. Like, I get why they didn't. This was obviously the easiest thing to do, and I'm sure their sponsors, you know, because they did quote-unquote miss out on a home game at Mosaic Stadium during the preseason, kind of get some play with that, so there's probably some of that involved as well, but yeah, just a little bit.
Even Mark and Sabine in Argos stuff.
Just a hint of Argos would have been nice.
Right, like Mark and Sabine in Argos stuff would have been funny.
Yeah, or at least just blue. It didn't necessarily have to say Argos, but if they're just wearing sort of like generic blue stuff, I thought that would have been, that might have been funny.
Or okay, I see it now. They should have challenged Mark and Sabine to make their own Argos jerseys. You know, Sabine's would have came out like wonderful and sparkly, and Mark's would have been, well,
a white
Mark's
T-shirt that just like wrote Argos on it.
I know we're gonna talk about the jerseys later.
Yes.
But I realized what they were missing when I saw Sabine post on social media.
What's that?
She bedazzled around the numbers on hers, and it actually made the numbers pop. And I'm like, because I looked and I'm like, how come the numbers on Sabine's jersey are so much clearer than what I just watched on TV? And then I saw in very much Sabine fashion, they were bedazzled.
Okay, but I did not notice that on the Maxtron. So
maybe
because the picture is a little closer up, you could see it.
And again, my cell phone has not been ravaged by the years of trains driving by when there's a rail right behind the damn thing.
No, they have not.
It's just been ravaged by other things. Oh, the mirror into my soul.
Yeah.
On that note, before we discuss any more foreign films.
Yes. The Riders did, of course, lose that game, so we will get into
transition out of that one, I guess.
I'm tired today. My brain had nothing there. The Riders lost.
Or you were
game.
thinking about my Vinegar Strokes face.
No, I was not thinking about that. The only vinegar I want to think about right now is on some French fries. No Rider fans are having vinegar strokes watching that game.
Oh, there it is! He got it! He got there, folks!
So we will discuss the Riders losing their first game of the year to the Argos and many of things that happened during that game, including the use of a certain player at kick return for some reason. But as always, John, for Lucky Bastard Distillers, what is in the glass this week?
Surprisingly, with that belly laugh, not edibles. No, this week, as usual, as it happens to me so many times, I did a whole shitload of yard work on Sunday, so I'm like, there's nothing that screams accomplishing your goal with yard work and barbecuing than a cold beer. So, swing by Your Hunt, the Sobeys liquor store, and I walk in, and I'm always like, okay, what am I in the mood for? And then I see Blackbridge sitting there at $13 for 4 cans of IPA. How do you turn it down? How do you turn that down? Again, Blackbridge, never change your price point. They could charge more. This is not it's cheap beer. You could charge more. Blackbridge is that good. I would still drink it if you charged more. But walking in, seeing on sale $13 for 4 cans of IPA, can't go wrong with it. That's and of course a side of Lucky Bastard vodka. Maybe that's what's giving me the giggles.
Probably. For me, I have from our friends at Multinational Brewing. One of their newest New England IPAs called Just Sayin'. It's a New England IPA of the highest quality, so they say. Another one of their sort of really good, less juicy, sort of drier New England IPAs that is just a delight to drink.
Are they Just Zayn or Sami Zayn?
They're not Sami Zayn. They're just Zayn. This came out before Sami Zayn won the championship. So
I know. I just wanted to bring up Sami Zayn because this is slowly devolving. Like the pie chart of football to bullshitting, it now has at least a solid wrestling component in there every episode too, as it should.
Yeah, Rider fans are wrestling with their first loss of the season. I almost went to Grady. I almost went to the derailing thing, but the wrestling felt a little more natural, a little less weird.
That's fair. We already had one weird transition. We don't need another.
No, we don't need more. The Riders, they lost their first game of the year, 48-34, to the Toronto Argonauts in what was, I'm not going to say an entertaining football game, but not a bad football game. Immensely watchable, kind of weird, but compelling. Compelling, I think, would be the word I would use for that game, because there was a lot of weird things that happened, a lot of bad decisions that we can get into from both teams. But overall, it was like, okay, the Riders lost, which was going to happen at some point this season. They were never going to go 18-0, even if they got at a certain point. If they somehow got to 16-0, you'd imagine they lose the game just because they wouldn't be playing anyone.
Right.
So at a certain point, they were going to lose a football game this year. And I don't know, like my biggest takeaway from the entire game, because, other things, week-to-week things happen, and sometimes we overanalyze a situation. For me, sort of the biggest takeaway is that the Argos are for real.
Yeah, I would agree for sure.
Like, this is a team to be taken seriously. Now, I don't necessarily know if they're quite Toronto, if they're not quite Montreal or Hamilton level yet, but they're certainly in the mix and very well could make the playoffs in the East.
If Chad Kelly doesn't turn the ball over a ton, they're a force to be reckoned with. Like, as much as I hate to admit it, because I don't think Chad Kelly's a good person, he was damn impressive in that game.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the throws he was able to make while, rolling out or off his back foot, or he just made throw after throw after throw. And realistically, Toronto had the potential to go Death Star mode, but Chad Kelly overthrew a couple receivers.
Yeah, the Argos were on the verge of Death Star mode, and we'll get into sort of, I guess, the first incredibly dumb decision in this game by a head coach. And that was Argos
there
head
were
coach
a few.
Mike Miller. They were third and inches deep in Rider territory. Liram Hairelahu is coming onto the field.
Such a fun name to say.
It is. And then Mike Miller throws a challenge flag, thinking they picked up the first down. As always in these situations, because there's just a massive humanity and we don't have the technology, allegedly, they could not prove where the ball actually was, so the call on the field stood. At that point in time, Mike Miller then sent out again Liam Hairelahu for a field goal on 3rd and inches, when he literally, Chad Kelly could have just fallen forward and they could have picked up a first down.
I don't get why coaches, unless it is like a third down gamble and you lose the game if you don't make it, I don't understand why coaches ever challenge the spot of the ball.
No.
I think it is
like there's been the rare scenario where they've screwed up and there's a clear view of the ball, but very rarely.
Because like you said, it's a massive humanity. And you'd think instead of being a first down, it's 3rd and inches and you just fall forward. But no, out comes the Winnipeg Blue Bombers legend, Liram Haralahu, which, by the way, is still the favorite name I ever heard Bob Irving say in all my many years of listening to him on CJOB. So it was boneheaded, and I texted you. I'm like, hey, this has to be the turning point. Like, the football gods are going to be angered, and it looked like...
It was a turning point.
Yes! It looked like the Riders were coming off the mat. Yes!
Yeah, like, that put up... The Argos went up 13-0 then, I believe.
Yes.
And they should have picked up the first down. They probably could have scored another touchdown, and then they could have just ran away and hid with that game. Instead, after that, unsurprisingly, the Riders respond with a touchdown, and they respond with 17 straight points to take the lead.
Right.
Which we've seen this story like 1,000 times before. I don't know how many times this has to keep happening before coaches figure out if you settle for a cowardly field goal, like a cowardly field goal of epic proportions against a team that you are literally kicking the shit out of, that is going to turn the game and they're going to start marching the other way and make
it happens at every single level. And again, if you make a 50-yard nuke or 60-yard nuke, cool. All the power to you. Yeah. But if you're going to kick on 3rd and inches deep in opposition territory when you can put the boot to the throat, they're always going to Undertaker off the mat. It's going to happen. It happens everywhere, and you saw it happen in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, even if you don't pick up the first down, the field position is better than scoring the points.
Which, again, I don't understand how coaches don't know. This is a hill I've always been willing to die on and this is Derek Taylor of CJOB now, it's always said, like, just even if you get stopped, the other team still has to march from about their own 30. If you make the field goal, they're coming from their own 45 now.
Yeah. Like, rarely is the 3 points worth the field position change. We've talked about this a lot on this program.
Yes.
Because Rider head coaches have made this decision a number of times. Other teams' head coaches have made this decision a number of times. Especially when you get into that red zone or closer and you're kicking field goals most of the time. Yes, there are scenarios where if you're up like 14 and you kick a field goal to make it a 3-possession game with like 2 minutes left. Sure, whatever.
I get it.
And
smart,
also in that
smart
scenario,
cowardly field goal.
And also in that scenario, the other team, you at least then have to kick off in the final 3 minutes. But
yes.
Yeah, most of the time in the first 57 minutes of the game, you should not be kicking in those areas. You just shouldn't. You just shouldn't.
Just go for it. And you saw the Riders Undertaker off the mat, and then
I believe one of those following drives, Corey Mace went for 2 third downs on that drive.
He did, yes, because you and I were both talking about how the football gods were punishing the cowardness of Mike Miller, and then rewarding the the courageous play or the decisions from Corey Mace. Because again, Alex Hale kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's call a spade here. He's clearly not trusted by his head coach, and it's forcing his head coach to make good decisions that are working in the team's favor. So Hale being kind of dog shit might be a blessing in disguise for this team, because you're right, in those kind of no-go areas, do you kick a 50-yard field goal, which we've seen bite this team in the ass, or do you just go for it and trust your extremely efficient offense? Mace trusts his offense, and next thing you know, boom, a couple of touchdowns.
If there's any quarterback I trust to make the smart decision and find a guy who's open to get a first down, it's Trevor Harris.
100%.
We've banged on Trevor Harris for a lot of things over his career. That would not be one of them. He's going to find a guy within who's going to at the very least be in the range of the first down, because he will go through all his reads. He won't just lock in on a guy. He will find the guy that needs to get the first down.
And he knows where he needs to go before that ball's even snapped. That is the joy of Trevor Harris, right? Gun to my head, 3rd and 5 from the opponent's 40-yard line. I need a first down. Which quarterback am I picking? Again, out of anybody in the league, it's probably Trevor Harris. Now, Same situation, gun to my head, I need to win a playoff game. No knock on Trevor Harris. I'm probably taking Vernon Adams or Nathan Rourke.
Probably not Vernon Adams. He hasn't won many playoff games, if any.
Well, then I'd be dead.
I'd probably lean towards Nathan Rourke or Davis. Davis Alexander actually currently might be the best quarterback in the league. But that's a whole other conversation.
I know. And he looks so damn good on that terribly green screen logo.
Yes. So that's not to say that the Riders didn't make their own poor decisions in this game. Like the Mike Miller one was obviously the headliner, sort of at least for the Argos, and sort of at the time felt like a really big turning point in that game, and it was until a turning point later in the half when in the final minute of the first half the Riders have the ball. They're kind of deep in their own territory. I'm not really doing like 30-40 yard line or whatever, and they don't get much on first down. And at that point in the game, there's about 35 seconds left, I believe, or so in the half, and it was like, okay, just run the ball. Basically, let's get out of here. Punt it off to the Argos. They'll get the ball back maybe with 10 seconds. Odds are they're not going to score a touchdown.
You and I love aggressive football.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the staples of this here podcast. But there are times that occasionally just kick it away, especially after you got punched in the teeth going down 13-0. Like, I get it. You had some momentum.
You got the lead. Even if you were like deeper, like if you're at your 50 midfield in that range, I'm like, okay, because you can get the punt deep enough at that point.
Right.
The punt was never going to be deep enough to prevent the Argos from wanting to go for it in this situation. So it should have been either handed off or a screen or some kind of short pass to make sure that clock moves.
Yes.
And instead, it wasn't. The clock stopped. The Argos got the ball back with plenty of time, and Chad Kelly marches them down very quickly, scores a touchdown. All of a sudden, you could feel the air deflate out of the Mosaic Stadium, and the Argos are up at the half when they probably shouldn't have been.
Well, and especially, too, there's not many great returners in this league anymore.
But Janarian Grant is an absolute nightmare for the Seattle Rough Riders.
My God. He's an absolute nightmare to most teams, right?
But specifically the Riders. Rob Vanstone of the team had the stat in the press box. He said 4 of the last 5 kick return touchdowns the Riders have given up have been Janarian Grant.
No way.
Yeah.
That's an insane stat. That is like, now that comes down to super stat meaningless number. To me, super stat.
Yeah.
But you watch as a casual observer of almost all CFL.
The other guy was Javon Leake, who was also an Argo at the time.
Yes. Oh my God, they're cursed. Yeah. Cursed, I tell you. Somebody called Danhausen. Now, Janarian Grant these days is not pulling off the big like highlight reel 80-yard returns, but consistently
but
you
he's
just
at
see
least
him
not
rip
just
off,
running right out of bounds like say Mary Offord.
No, yeah, exactly. You consistently Janarian Grant get the ball, rips off 30-40, and guess what that does? That sets up the offense. So if I'm the Riders, again, you and I are aggressive, put the foot down guys. You have a returner that has absolutely fed you your lunch for a decade back there, and you kick to him. And then the football gods are mad at you now. And, turned around coming into that second half, too.
Mm-hmm. Despite all of that, they were obviously, as usual, in the game. But perhaps the worst decision of the game by head coach Corey Mason, the Riders, was when James Letcher Jr. got hurt on a kick return. And so the thought then becomes, well, who's going to step up? Who's going to be the next man up here? And for whatever reason, it was Samuel Emelis. And this is not a knock on Sam Emelis. He can probably do it. He's obviously got the hands. He's reliable. I'm sure all that. But he also hasn't really returned kicks in the CFL since his rookie year. And so that obviously made that decision a little baffling. But then also his importance to the team made it felt a little baffling. Like there are certain scenarios where, I know Weston Dresser. Everyone's like, well, Weston Dresser. Like Weston Dresser used to do it a lot. Yeah. He practically begged and forced the coaches to do it at times. And then they did eventually get away from it until like key scenarios when they really needed a guy back there. Week 3 against the Toronto Argonauts in the middle of a game is not the scenario where you really need a guy back there. And then we saw Daniel Weeb take over after, unfortunately and almost predictably, Sam Emelis got hurt because he was returning kicks when he simply shouldn't have been. And it's it almost feels like mispractice by the coaching staff to put a guy that important to this team in that spot. And I know he can get hurt playing receiver and all that. Like it's football, you could get hurt at any time, but there is no point in putting someone like that in unnecessary harm.
Well, and especially the value of a Canadian receiver.
Yeah, not
like,
just a Canadian receiver who is legit one of the top 10 receivers in this league.
100%.
Yeah.
And I don't go why you'd put him back there. I 100% agree with you. And the funny thing is that they went to Daniel Weeb. Now, Weeb at the U of S returned punts all the way up until his senior year.
Yeah.
Like, Daniel Weeb up until 2025, and he even had to fill in one game against Regina. I'm looking through his stats right now, because I remembered, I'm like, as soon as I saw Daniel Weeb return a punt, I'm like, wait a minute. I've seen this somewhere before. I've been at a Husky game that he was returning punts. So, no offense to Mr. Daniel Weeb.
No.
I would have gone straight to Weeb instead of Emelis.
Absolutely.
Daniel Weeb is far less important to this team as of this moment than Sam Emelis is.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
now,
absolutely
again,
no disrespect to Daniel Weeb, but we can talk about it in a minute who made the most of his opportunity.
100%. As he did that in the preseason too, right at the turf that he knew his home turf for so many years, right? I think anyone that's watched some Husky footballs know that Daniel Weeb's the real deal, but I don't get, like, this isn't, I get, okay, you're down a touchdown, there's 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter, put your best player back there and see what he can do, especially if your normal kick returner's down. But the fact they didn't go...
I don't... He may be one of their best offensive players, but I don't view Sam Emelis as, like, breakaway speed, as, like, big-time moves. Like, he catches a football very well, and he's able to put his body in good position to do that, to make those catches. But he doesn't necessarily, like, make a ton of guys miss with his moves.
No.
Like, he's not that tricky of a receiver. He's just big and very good at catching the football.
No, that's fair. And
right?
You're right. It is a bit of, there's a reason that not everybody does it, right? Obviously, special teams, they've done all this work to make special teams safer, and there's a reason for that, right? Yep. It is one of the most dangerous, positions on the field. So, and looking back at it now, as I finally got to it, even if this makes even less sense now as I look this up. Look at me doing research. In his collegiate career, Sam Emelis returned 3 punts. His entire collegiate career. So you go to a guy that's essential to your offense, ahead of another Canadian guy that returned punts while he played college, and the predictable thing happens.
Yeah, he'd be on the second punt return of the game for him.
Yeah, and you called it. You called it. You texted me, you're like, I don't know what to do with Emelis back there, and I think I was doing dishes or something at the time. I'm like, oh, Gasson just cursed him somehow. Like, I know the Fraser curse is famous, but man, that was pretty good there, Gass. So
yeah, I said in the 3-down chat as well. I was like, ooh, Sam Emelis, that's a choice.
I think that's exactly what you said to me. And then, of course, guess who missed practice today?
Yeah, and Ken Schaefer Baker. So that's
yeah. Ooh.
Things are getting interesting.
Yeah, thanks to some not so great decisions. Where again, the football gods saw that and went, yeah, sorry, Corey Mace. We're just going to let you get close enough on that one after that bonehead decision.
So, yeah, that's not a scenario you would like to see, and it's certainly not something that worked out well for the team, and we'll see how long they're going to be without Sam Emelis because of that decision. But because Emelis got hurt, because we talked about him, I think it's worth talking about it. Daniel Weeb.
Yes.
Yeah, like, everything suggests this guy can play football. And
yes.
I understand, you can't teach size or whatever, but he's better than Duncan Busby. Like, can we be realistic here? He's shiftier. He just brings something to the offense that maybe the rest of the receivers don't to a degree. Like, I'm not going to say he's exactly this, but his undersized, like, he reminds me a little bit of Weston Dressler.
He's a Canadian Weston Dressler.
Because of his size, because of his toughness, because of all that. Like, he just brings something different to the offense than you see the rest of them. And yeah, yes, you want your receivers to block, but first and foremost, you want your receivers to be able to catch a football. He can clearly catch a football, and he can clearly take a hit because he got absolutely slaughtered on that touchdown of his, and he hung on to that football. So I'm not saying that Daniel Weeb needs to be going out there starting every single game, but I think he has earned himself certainly a role in this offense going forward.
There is something there for this season and the future, right? And again, this is just another Jeremy O'Day receiver gem.
Yeah.
8th round selection.
Which is
69th
crazy
pick.
to think about because, like, this is the thing, like, he was great at the University of Saskatchewan. He tested well at the combine. So, wow, guy who does football things well at every level continues to do football things well. And there are still teams and scouts out there because of certain other metrics, size or location or whatever the case may be, sometimes refuse to just believe what they see on film. If a guy is good on film at every single level of football he's ever played, he's probably a good football player, and you should draft him.
That right? What a wild concept! Right? I mean, I get it. Like, is he going to be
a CFL thing? Like NFL teams, this just happens across football. It's like, I don't know, this guy, especially if you look at this in the States, it's like, I don't know, this guy was good in middle school, he's good in high school, he's good in college, and NFL teams are like, I don't know because of blah blah blah. And then he turns into a good
6 foot nothing,
and then he turns into a good football player. Like, wow, who could have predicted this guy who's been a great football player for 20 years is suddenly good in the NFL as well? Wow,
what a wild concept! and I get it. Like, you get a little more leeway in the CFL, but. Yeah. It's funny, seeing Daniel Weeb when he got drafted 69th overall is almost the old, okay, we'll take somebody from the Huskies because we're having camp here. And to see him grow into this, and like you said, his performance... Well, well done. But again, the comparisons to Weston Dressler are there. But he's Canadian. And... are we sitting here saying that Daniel Weeb is going to be in the plaza one day?
No, gosh, no.
Absolutely not. We don't know enough about scouting. We don't know enough about football players. But we know if you've been good, like you said, if you've been good your whole frickin' life, you're probably going to continue to be good. And I love seeing Daniel Weeb get a shot. And I don't want to see MLS and KSB miss a trap game in Ottawa. No. Where it always seems to be nightmare fuel for this team, but if it gets Daniel Weeb a little bit more playing time, at least have him as your primary punt returner if guys are out. Yeah. Right? Like, I just see that Weston Dressler role growing for him, and for a kid from Rosetown, that's awesome.
Absolutely. It was surprising that we knew that it was him that scored the touchdown, though.
That's just where this is going. Or
I guess maybe we knew it was him because he was one of the smaller guys on the field. But
it's great when you know who a player is because he's tiny and wee. The Mamba have a guy that's listed at like 5'7". He's easy. TDM is a little easy to tell when he subs in or out.
Yeah, I mean, when, 6'3" is considered short in basketball, yeah.
Right.
Oh, here, the team is bringing on their small package. All these 6'5" guys are on the court now.
Oh, God. Yeah, they're playing some small ball. Everybody's 6'4".
Yeah, exactly. We do have to discuss the jerseys again. This isn't about their existence, other than the fact that there's a lot of jerseys in the CFL right now that are sort of difficult to read.
Yes.
From the stands. The BC Lions one was pretty bad. There's been some others over the years as well. Like, even the Obsidian Greens aren't great, but they're passable.
I mean, they get some cool factor. And again, you're at every game, so you have a better read on this than I do.
Yeah. The Prairie Blizzard jerseys, which are just away jerseys with white numbers, maybe the worst I've ever seen, and some people around us agreed could be the worst in the league right now in terms of knowing who's who on the field. And I bring this up not as a media guy. This isn't about, Dustin Nielsen or Dave Thomas or any of the guys calling any of the games. Frankly, for Mike Hogan and Ben Grant in Toronto in a studio, they may have actually had the best vantage point for that game.
Probably.
But even then, at times, I remember a play would happen, and I would look up because the TVs in the press box are SaskTel, and they are a good 20, 30 seconds behind what happens on the field. So I've gotten better at texting you, waiting for the play to actually end before saying something.
That's what I appreciate. That's because it's funny because it depends which platform I'm watching on. Like my Rogers Ignite boxes, 100% great. If I'm watching on my deck on my TSN app on my smart TV, you seem like Nostradamus because you're a full minute ahead of me.
But then, so it's great in the press box. I'll sit there, you watch the play live, and then you can look up and see the TV, and then it's not even the replay yet. It is still the live play on TSN, basically.
Awesome.
Happens in front of me. So I'm like, cool, I get to watch it live again. And there'd be times where I look up and they start playing replays, and I still couldn't tell who was who. Like, a lot of these other jerseys, at least they look good on TV. They look decent up close. You can tell who's who. There are angles on TSN where you could still not tell who the heck was making the play or missing the play. It was bad. And the league has got to step in at this point. It's not about the media guys, but if you're a paying fan in the stands, you also deserve to know who the heck is playing.
I feel bad for I didn't listen to Dave and Luke. listened to Dusty, and I could tell even, like, we're huge fans of Dustin Nielsen and his call. That's well established here on this here podcast. When I would call a football game, when I was like a Football Canada Cup, for example, I got drop shipped in, no notice. A guy was sick. Next thing you know, I'm calling U18 football, and I have no notice on jerseys. So in football, one thing you can do, and I've talked to other broadcasters about this, is you can kind of go into what I call safe mode, right? Announce the quarterback, announce the receivers, announce the running back. That's about it. You can get away with it, right? It doesn't make for a 10 out of 10 call, but you can get away with it. And I heard a lot of that out of Dusty. And that, to me, that a professional of the level of Dusty Nielsen, and I'm sure it was similar with Dave and Luke, that those guys who I think are the creme de la creme of Canadian football were struggling with these jerseys. It proves that they were a terrible idea. And again, if you're going to do Prairie Blizzard, we all know what is the coolest, like, non-obsidian, non-watermelon rider look of the past 20 years. It is the Stormtrooper look. You could have just brought that back, the white helmets, the road jerseys with the green, and the white pants. Everybody loved the Stormtrooper look, and then you went and did this Prairie Blizzard thing, and the only option would have been to bedazzle every jersey so people could have read them,